Good morning. Let's try it again. Let's get the energy flowing. Good morning. Welcome to Unity Church of the Hills. We're going to start our service off by welcoming Spirit into this place. Spirit, I love you. Spirit, I love you. Oh my, and you are welcome in, you're welcome in this place. I'm lost without you, can't do nothing without you, oh no. And you are welcome in, you're welcome in this place. My heart says yes. My heart says yes to your will in your ways. And you are welcome in, you're welcome in this place. Oh, my heart, my heart. Says yes, yes to your will. My heart says yes to your ways. And you are welcome in, you're welcome in this place. My heart says yes. Oh yes, my heart says yes to your light and to your love. And you are welcome in, you're welcome in to this place. My heart says yes to you, to love. My heart says yes to your blessings from up above. Lord, you are welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome into this place. Our heart says yes. Oh yes, our heart says yes. We're open and ready for you, Lord. And you are welcome in, you're welcome in this place.
Thank you so much, Rod. That was just gorgeous. Thank you. My little voice is not going to be nearly as welcoming. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Cynthia, and it is a joy to welcome each one of you here this Sunday. I want you to know that your presence here matters and makes a difference, that you are here to give expression to God, and we see that light in each one of your faces. We like to begin our services by affirming our vision and mission statement together, so let's start with our vision statement. Centered in love and divine oneness, we transform ourselves, our community, and our world. And our mission statement, we put God first, celebrate life, live unity principles, and empower each other to transform our lives. I invite you to just really take that in, to feel the energy of our commitment to be the light in this world. And we do see that in each of you. I want to welcome you. I welcome everybody in this sanctuary, but I also want to acknowledge our online audience. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your light across the internet. And if there's anybody that's here for the first time, if you wouldn't mind raising your hands so we can acknowledge you and celebrate you. If you didn't get one as you came in the door, there are connection cards in the pew in front of you. We invite you to fill those out. It gives us an opportunity to stay connected with you. And we do, once again, thank you for being here. Each Sunday, we affirm together a blessing that acknowledges why we're here and what we see in one another. So let's do that together. We love you, we bless you, we welcome you, and we behold the Christ you are. And so now let's take a moment and move around the room and acknowledge that Christ light, that divine essence in one another.
With that same feeling of love and fellowship and community, I ask that you stand so we can sing our opening song, Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. To see you high and lifted up,
It just keeps going and going. And going and going. That sound of God. The sound of God that is integrated and fused into us, into everything. It's that reminder of that sound, the reminder that there's nowhere God is not, that vibration, that energy, that loving, that allness is available to us in every moment, no matter what's going on, no matter who we're with or what just happened. It's always there. It's infusing this church, this sanctuary, these people. It reminds us that we are wholly part of God, and that God is wholly part of us. We just get to remember to anchor that feeling inside. And so it is. And so we choose to let it be. Amen.
You can play the game, you can act out the part, though you know it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Father and mother and sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. I know things are gonna work out better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. And what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone. Once you tell somebody the way that you feel, you can feel it beginning to ease. And I think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel, always getting the grease. It's better to shower the people you love with love. Yes, and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Yes, and show them the way that you feel. I know things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Shower the people you love with love and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Shower the people you love with love, yes, and show them the way that you feel. I know things are gonna work out fine if you only will.
Thank you, Mark. You guys have heard Mark's guitar. You got to hear his voice today. Wasn't that wonderful? So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Such a great message, right? Shower the people you love with love. Shower the people you love with love. And yet, it's a little bit redundant, isn't it? I mean, isn't that the meaning of loving someone? But we forget, don't we? Those people that are so important in our lives, we sometimes forget to stop and acknowledge them and tell them how much they make a difference in our lives, don't we? And then there's the other people, right? The people that maybe you don't like so much. The people that kind of push your buttons. It's so interesting. I kind of have my own way of looking at the world. And sometimes I kind of think that everybody else should see it my way. But then when I really think about it, 7 billion people, 7 billion Cynthias on this planet? Oh my God. Let's not go there, right? And yet we can get so stuck. Something happens. There's some sort of disconnect with someone. There's someone that behaves in a way that really doesn't work for us, that is harmful, perhaps in some way. And then we have this tendency to kind of rehearse the hurt. It keeps playing through our minds. We keep deepening the sense of disconnect, the anger, the sense of betrayal. Resentment sets in. And there is this block in our energy field to the flow of love. In 1 John 4:7, we are reminded, beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. Let us love one another. When we do this, we are being the channels for the infinite love of God. That is why we are placed on this earth. And sometimes those channels get clogged up. And we need to do something to try and tease that out so we can return to our natural state, which is the place of deep communion with God, with the world around us, with the people around us, no matter who they are and how many buttons they push. Remember, Jesus said, love your enemies. And that's not so easy. And that's why there is a spiritual practice of returning once again to that flow of love. There's a spiritual practice in which we can let that love flow once again. It's called forgiveness. And forgiveness is not always easy because we do get stuck. But it is transformative. It allows that love to flow once again. And Martin Luther King said that love is the only force in the universe that can turn an enemy into a friend. It is the only force in the universe that can return us to our natural state. A number of months ago, I had a delightful conversation with Pamela Haynes. And she shared with me several stories on forgiveness that were really beautiful. And I have invited her to come forward and share those stories with you this morning. Pamela.
So, the center. Of course. Some of you know I have been a member here since 2004. You may not know that I originally started being involved in Unity in the early 70s. And about a couple of years before that, I got my master's in clinical social work. So when I was asked to do this talk, I started thinking about forgiveness, and many people come to me and they are hesitant to forgive because they think that means reconciliation with this person. And I see it the other way. I think that you decide reconciliation after you've done the forgiveness work. I've seen people that, and personally have experienced forgiveness and had wonderful healing out of it. And other times you realize that's the end of the relationship, but you're no longer holding all that hurt and pain. So the first thing, and also some people, I suppose, can just say, I'm going to forgive that person and do so. But most of us have a little work to do. And that work usually takes some sort of action. It might be prayer, such as the Ho'oponopono prayer. It could be a meditation. Some people choose to write a letter to the person that's hurt them and discuss all of the things that they feel angry and hurt about. And then they write the things that they cared about in that person. Sometimes those letters are sent, sometimes they're destroyed. Sometimes people do other, what we call in therapy, rituals. That might be burning something or letting off a bunch of balloons. The point is, we have to take action. So the first story that I have to tell you is an action story that is quite dramatic. So I have a friend named Virginia, and Virginia's mother and her first husband were missionaries to Indonesia during the Second World War. And they had a little boy. He was about 2.5 at that point. And when the Japanese took over the Southeast Asia, they went into POW camps. Virginia's mother went with the little boy into a children and women camp, and her husband went into the men's camp. She did everything she could to keep that little boy alive during that period. It was very, very stressful. It was about 4.5 years. And her husband was not only a missionary, he was an amateur photographer. When the Japanese saw his pictures, they decided that he was a spy, and they tortured him to death. When she was finally released from the camp, Virginia's mother asked the Board of Missions, this was the Baptist Board, to send her to Japan. And she took her child and she lived with the Japanese. And she prayed with them and ate with them and learned their culture and learned their language. And she said to Virginia, I could not live with hate in my heart. I had to recapture myself. I recently learned that freedom and forgiveness are the same word in Arabic. And I thought that was interesting because when we think of freedom, when we think of forgiveness, we tend to think of freeing ourselves from our anger, hurt, as if that's going to harm the other person. And sometimes it does hurt them, but sometimes it doesn't seem to matter. We're the ones that are suffering. But I believe that when we forgive someone, we open up the opportunity spiritually for freedom for them as well. And so my next story is about that. So I was working in Hawaii, and I had a client. She was a Navy wife, and she had been coming to see me on and off for several years. And let's see, the Navy's, the tour of duty's about 3 or 4 years. So shortly before she was ready to move, she came in and she said, I want to forgive my first husband. And it seems that this man had been physically, sexually, and emotionally abusive to her. They had 2 children. And by the time she was able to get out of that marriage, she had become an alcoholic. And he was wealthy, so he got custody of the children. And I think the girl was about 11, the little boy was about 4. So this was several years later. Her daughter had been very difficult for the father to deal with. She wanted to be with her mother. And after a few years, he sent her to live with her mother. But she had not seen her son in at least 3 years and was rarely allowed to even talk to him. So we began working out a plan, what she was going to do to work on forgiveness and how she was going to get there. And amazingly, within a few weeks, she came in and she said, you aren't going to believe what happened. My former husband called me up and asked me if I wanted custody of our son. Sometimes we don't get that kind of message, but this one I thought was worth sharing. The last story I have to tell is a little more challenging for me because it's a personal story. I believe that when we forgive someone, it gives us the opportunity to open up and to actually experience another dimension, a spiritual dimension. And so, going back into my history, as I said, in the early 70s, my husband and I were living in the Kansas City metropolitan area, and we belonged to a Search for God study group that met once a week. This is an ARE study group. And through that group, we became involved in Unity. We started going on the plaza. We eventually joined Unity Village, and we were just very, very deeply involved. We moved to Europe, and at the end of the 1970s, we started studying the Course in Miracles. And I think our friends would say we were a close couple. We not only were involved in each other's spiritual life, but work life. We did a lot of things together. And so it came as a shock to friends and family and me that after several months after our 25th wedding anniversary, he started an affair with someone he'd gone to high school with. And because of my history, because of all that we'd been through, I knew that I was going to need to forgive him. But I also knew that as a social worker, that I was going to have to do some grief work first. So the first few months I did the grief work. I started that. That's always a long process. And eventually I started forgiveness work. And the way I chose to do it was to meditate. And in my meditation, I imagined myself connected to my husband by a very strong cord. And I took a knife and I'm cutting the cord and I'm affirming, I love you, I forgive you, I release you to your highest good. Words of that effect. And all of a sudden, this woman he was having an affair with, uninvited, showed up in this meditation. And I was like, okay, for maybe half a second, and then a miracle happened. We rushed toward each other. We hugged each other. We called each other sister. And something inside of me just broke open, and the most wonderful love, joy, peace, contentment just flowed through me. It lasted for hours. And then again, a month or so later, I was praying with my minister's wife, Donna McClure, and she was also in LUT. And I hadn't told her that story, but when we went into meditation, I started the same process. I'm imagining my husband, I'm cutting the cord, I'm affirming, and again, this woman shows up. And again, we rush toward each other, and again, we call each other sister. And again, we feel this incredible love flow through us, and joy and peace. And when I came out of it, I told Donna what had happened, and she said, oh, I know. I felt it come into the room. Now, I think the spiritual experiences are hard to describe because the language is so different. But I tried to understand what that was all about. And it came to me that when we are, if you were an actor and you're on stage and you're in a costume and you may hate somebody, or you may be madly in love with somebody, or you may have all these other emotions going on. But when you go backstage, you have different relationships with those people. And I think that's the way we are. There's another process going on, and we are just doing the best we can in this one to understand it. But we also have an opportunity when we forgive to glimpse what that process is like. And so I know all of you have worked with forgiveness and probably have stories like this or will have stories like this. But I hope that you will take the time to forgive those people, even the ones that are just irritating you, because those people, it's like cleaning out the closet. Once you get that one out, it's a whole different world of feeling. Thank you for letting me share with you today.
Thank you, Pamela. So we all need to get backstage. Yeah, this little thing we do here maybe isn't all that, what's the word? It's a little bit messy. Backstage is usually pretty messy too. For those of us that have spent any time there. I so appreciate you for sharing those stories. Thank you so much. You know, forgiveness is so central, and as Pamela mentioned, it's not the same as reconciliation. You know, sometimes people think that forgiveness means you need to have a close relationship with this person. And sometimes that's just not the case. Sometimes it's not even in your best interest to renew the relationship. And that's a choice you need to make, but you can always make the choice to remove the blockages, to let the love flow. And it's so easy when things go awry in a relationship to lose sight of the beauty and the wonder of that individual. It's easy to lose sight of the fact that they are an expression of the divine just as we are. And yet it is so essential, because anything we hold in our hearts, we put out into the world. And my desire, and I think it's yours as well, my desire is to see more love in the world. My desire is to shower the world with love. And that means I need to continually work on me and all that stuff that gets stuck in me. There's one part of forgiveness that didn't show up in Pamela's stories that I think is worth bringing forward. And for me, there was an incident in my life several years ago that was deeply, deeply painful. It was a significant betrayal. And right after the incident occurred, I began the prayer work. I didn't start with forgiveness, actually. I started with a prayer of, teach me to love. Teach me to love, over and over again. And we know the story of Jesus being asked how many times he should forgive. And he said, is it 7? No, 7 times 7. 7 times 70 in some stories. But the idea is that it's an ongoing process, it's a journey, and you keep forgiving until you completely release that blockage. And that was true in this particular story. It took a lot of work. And there was still something that was stuck, and I could feel it, but I didn't really know what it was. And I began to do some journaling. And what I realized is that I had put a lot of energy and effort into forgiving this other person and sending that other person love. But I hadn't put any energy into loving myself and forgiving myself. Because in that story, even though the behavior that occurred was not of my making, the energy of judgment and criticism and anger that was running through me was of my making. And there was a whole story going on inside me about what was wrong with me because I couldn't love this person. And as I began to do the internal work with me, that situation lost its charge. And I'm able to interact with this individual with a friendship, not a close friendship. So we really want to include everyone in forgiveness. And I think Pamela's stories show very beautifully what Imelda Shanklin says about forgiveness. She says, forgiveness is a unification of the soul with God, comparable to the raindrops' reception by the sea. Unification with God, dissolving into the ocean of God. This is what it's about. Our journey is about being the expression of love. And forgiveness is about embracing that fully and choosing once again, over and over and over and over again, to be the presence of love in the world. There's so many situations in our world that are begging for love. that universal healing energy. There are so many situations in our world that are begging for healing. And the deepest form of healing I know of is love. I believe that any time we choose to let go of those blockages to love, we are creating the space for that healing. We are allowing ourselves to be part of God's healing of this earth. You know, in Luke, we hear the story of Jesus from the cross saying, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." We will be hurt in this journey. Life is messy. People don't always show up in ways that demonstrate the depth of who they really are. But those actions they take say nothing about their true nature. That prayer from the cross was an affirmation of the truth of those individuals in the midst of unbelievably cruel behavior. And there are countless stories in our world of people who have overcome really horrible situations, like Virginia's mother, and found healing in forgiveness and stepped into the flow of love and giving expression to that love in the world. And I believe that is each of our invitation, each of our journey back to wholeness and back to our true natures. And so I invite you to embrace forgiveness day by day, moment by moment, 7 times 70 times 700, whatever it takes, because you're worth it, and the world needs you to shine your love. God bless.
God is guiding every step I take, every moment of every single day. I will never stray or turn away, never falter, just as long as God is guiding me. Oh, God is guiding me.
So, I invite you to close your eyes or lower your gaze, just allowing yourself to become more reflective. And take a couple of deep, full breaths. Notice the movement of love, the movement of God, in, through, and as each breath. And as you open yourself to that breath, you open yourself to the now moment. You open yourself to communion with the infinite, with God, with Source, with love. And I invite you to just allow that love to move through every cell of your being, freely, unencumbered. And now, bring to mind a situation and individual where there's some tension, some stress, some need for forgiveness. And breathe into your center. Feeling the love that you are, opening all the channels of God's love within you. And let that love flow out and move into the mind and heart and soul of that other individual. See them as the pure expression of God, of love, that they truly are. And just allow the love to be in the silence. As you continue this process of sending love, just affirm silently the love that you hold for this individual, not through any actions they have taken, but just for being the pure light of God. Choose to set themselves and yourself and the love free. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. Good morning. Now is the time to feed the place that feeds our soul and reminds us daily to live a truly spiritual life and experience the power of giving and receiving with our offering. Now, there are several ways for you to give, and they're showing on the screen. And no matter how you give, we're grateful for your generosity and know that you are abundantly blessed. If you're joining us online, you'll find the link to give in the service description. And there are laminated cards with QR codes in the pew racks. If you have set up automatic giving, there are small cards that you can hold while we speak our offering affirmation together. Then place it in the offering basket to represent your gift. And if you'll join me now, let's say our offering affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I circulate, and I am grateful.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds flew by my doorstep, singing sweet songs. Melodies pure and true. See, this is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. See, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Rise up this morning, look at the clouds in the sky, beautiful things as they're slowly drifting by. They're showing me I don't need to know everything, 'cause they're telling me it's alright, it's alright. They're saying don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds asking me to sing along. A song about truth, a song about me and you. Saying love is the answer. That's my song. I'm saying don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Every little thing's gonna be alright. Every little thing's gonna be alright.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Mark, it's wonderful to get to know some of your talent. Thank you so much. And Rod, and Glenn and Rob. And also I want to thank Pamela once more for your beautiful message. And now let's just take a moment and just allow that love to flow in filling these offerings. And that love flows out to all the givers. We see them as the pure light and pure love of God, and we see these gifts going forth to spread that light in our world, and so we are deeply grateful. And we say thank you and amen.
Okay, this isn't in the official announcements, but maybe some of you have seen the little pride pins. They're in the bookstore for $5, so get your pride pin. Okay, so stop by the table in the foyer to say hello to Catherine Seidlitz, prevention specialist from the Phoenix House of Texas, who is offering their Guiding Good Choices parenting workshop in July. So register now for the information session about the workshop on Saturday, June 28th at 3 p.m. in room 131. Join Anaya to learn more about serving Beyond the Arch. This community outreach initiative is designed to more deeply connect us with the communities around us so that we may be of service to their needs, further activating our mission to put God first, celebrate life, live unity principles, and empower one another to transform our lives. Our first Beyond the Arch initiative team meeting is Sunday, June 22nd at 12:45 p.m., and you are invited to bring your ideas, your heart, and your inspiration. So please register online. Do you ever wonder how to change your thinking and see the opportunities available to help you unlock your path to prosperity? If you wonder that, join Ted Paone for the Keys to the Kingdom, a tried and true prosperity teaching that will change your life. So register now, and seating is limited. Join us in community as we gather to enjoy the movie 1946, The Mistranslation That Shifted Culture. It's a featured documentary that follows the story of tracing the origins of the anti-gay community movement among Christians to a grave mistranslation of the Bible in 1946. A conscious conversation circle will follow the movie, and registration is required. Are you looking for something exciting for your kids to do this summer and actually give you a little time on your own? So Unity Camp of the Hills is a one-day event that puts fun in the fundamentals of learning about spiritual living in a kid-friendly, fun-filled way. Saturday, June 28th is when it is, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that's for kindergartners through 5th grade. And you can register your child for this and other fun camps today. Are you interested in becoming a UCOH member and learning more about Unity and Unity Church of the Hills? And if so, whether you're a newcomer or have been with us for a while, you're in luck. We have a 3-week Path to Discovery class series beginning July 9th. Attend in person, or you can even attend on Zoom, and registration, of course, is required. And to become a member, you must attend the first class and at least one of the other 2 classes. We look forward to touching minds and hearts with you. And last, tap the What's New button on the UCOH website to register for any event or class and see what's coming up this week, or get more information about the events you heard about today. And speaking of the website, it's had a makeover. It's fresh, new look is less cluttered and much easier to navigate. So you can check it out and let us know what you think. So have a good day.
Want to remind you that we have prayer chaplains. I don't like the term on duty. We have prayer chaplains serving after each service. They're available in the chapel, which you can reach by going through the offices and turning right. It's a wonderful opportunity to really anchor yourself in prayer with another individual. If you haven't done this, I invite you to do so. And the prayer chaplains that are serving this morning are Tim and Feline, who are right here. Look for the purple scarves. And for those of you that are online, we invite you to call Silent Unity, and the number is on your screen. We are now going to bring the children in, and there's a prayer circle on Monday nights that I do as well. And that's a Zoom prayer call, so you'll have to register for that if you're not registered. And now we're going to bring the children in. And that means saying goodbye to our online audience.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.